Contrary to the popular misconception, the purpose of religion is not to escape the reality of sorrow. Easter is not an effort to just skim over the agony of Good Friday. Easter provides perspective for our darkest hours. I like what John Habgood, a retired archbishop from York in England, says about religion. I wish I could relay this in a British accent, but this is what he says. Religion is about making sense of life, particularly those aspects of it which challenge and disturb us. Not only do we have a need to try to make sense of suffering, but we also want to make sense where we can of joy, undeserved happiness, or blessings. Suffering and joy are those points where the human and the divine come into the most intimate and profound proximities. They unite all human experiences in all ages and beyond all particulars of place and of circumstances. Religion is the attempt to give some formal record of what we may learn from these experiences. As of late, I have turned to some interesting reading on how religion approaches suffering and how that differs from the medical approach to suffering. In medicine, it is presumed that little of value comes from suffering, and thus suffering is something to be either swiftly anesthetized or, better still, wholly eliminated. Medicine asks, what good is an experience whose most obvious features are pain and inconvenience? Religion, on the other hand, views suffering more as a natural outcome when confronting certain unpleasant aspects of life. These are aspects we need to confront if we hope to live more firmly rooted in reality. So rather than viewing suffering as an inconvenience to be removed from our lives, the religious perspective offers something like balm, a balm of hope, a balm of joy, potentially. But this does not obliterate suffering from reality, but lifts the darkness of the moment. Now, joy should not be perceived as a gift of grace that suddenly comes and makes everything light and perfect and beautiful. Not at all. Joy should not be confused with pleasure. Joy allows us to see everything in its completeness. Joy allows us to see everything in its completeness. Good Friday, Easter, slavery, freedom, 10,000 sorrows, 10,000 joys. Joy is when it all becomes clear. Now, what becomes clear? That suffering is the context of joy, like darkness is the context of light. We behold the human condition and understand that many deaths intrude our lives, but it doesn't end there. There is joy in the morning and joy in the springtime. We are blessed with 10,000 joys. And we are blessed with Easter and with milk and honey in the promised land. That's all that led E.E. Cummings in her opening words this morning to proclaim, how could I ever have doubted unimaginable you? Because I, who have died, am alive again. Experiencing the complete wholeness of life, he cries out at the very end of that poem, now the ears of my ears awake. Now the eyes of my eyes are open. I got the picture. I am thankful for this most amazing day. Now, when I told you about the historic marker in Arlington, Massachusetts, where Mr. Samuel Whittemore was shot, bayoneted, beaten, and left for dead, I didn't share the whole story. This is how the marker really reads in its entirety. Samuel Whittemore recovered and lived to be 98 years old. I who have died am alive again today. So in Arlington Center stands a monument to hope, let alone to human resiliency. It's a monument to all suffering and to all blessings, most of which are simply inexplicable. They happen. It's part of life, part of our journey, the human condition inextricably tied to 10,000 sorrows, 10,000 joys. In our tradition, Easter speaks to us this same message. After Good Friday comes Easter. Again and again and again. What a miracle.